Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On today's episode, we're covering from 1989, No Holds Barred.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good one, baby.
Is it? Is it? I don't know. I thought this was a classic from 1989, but some may disagree.
As I do.
No, I agree with Zap. I like this one, and the PWE event we were just at inspired us. So that's why we're doing the wrestling stuff.
PWE good, No Holds Barred bad.
No. I think you're off on that. But I think we're pretty good, and I hope you think so too. So don't forget to leave us that 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you may be. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff, at Old Dirty Basement. And sit back, relax, and enjoy from 1989. No Holds Barred.
Woo! Dig it!
Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review.
Where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Hey, listen up there, brother. We got something good in the old Vintage Cinema Review today.
Oh, yeah. This is a late 80s classic.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, No Holds Barred, huh? 1989.
No Holds Barred. Just when professional wrestling couldn't figure out how to make money anymore, they tried their best to invade Hollywood.
Yep. And we actually tried to record this the other day, but it just didn't go too well.
No. Note to self, don't attempt to record at a live wrestling event.
It's very loud.
It was
it
was very loud. I mean, we thought it'd be cool, like a little background noise, but it was just too much.
The wrestling enthusiasts are very, very loud people. They get into it.
Intense.
There's like Matt slamming. I mean, that's
yeah. I thought, I mean, to be honest, listening back, it sounded like a bowling alley. Like
oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, when the pins.
I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, I will say they are very passionate fans. It was cool to see like all that support there for these wrestlers and stuff. I remember back when I was a kid, how people were like so passionate about wrestling and stuff, like back in the 80s with like WWF. But it was cool to see. I mean, it was a cool event. I had a good time. We just couldn't record there.
Yeah. Well, we're doing like the movie No Holds Barred, but this is it starts out as the beginning stages of wrestling, and these people are trying to make it to this level, as big as like Hogan. And I don't think in this movie, when we do this, he was actually a wrestler. I think he tried.
That's correct.
Yeah, but I don't think he was like a star or anything like that.
No, not at the time. This was his entree
debut,
his attempt to get into wrestling, which lasted not long at all.
Nothing.
No.
You know, one kid at that show we were just at, the PWE, he was a Votech alma mater.
Yes, the guy that was like cleaning up with the
broom guy.
No, not the broom guy. No, not the broom
okay.
guy. One of the wrestlers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The one that had his own podcast.
No,
there was 2 or 3 guys.
Wait. Matt might be right.
I think it was
Matt might be right.
Was it the long-haired fella?
He had a long beard.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There was the one guy that came over and he was at our booth there and was asking about podcasting and any, pointers. They're just starting out, but they do more of a streaming podcast, and it's obviously specializing in wrestling. So it was cool to talk to him.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's the same cat.
Okay, yeah.
I think, and the other two guys that we talked to are promoters. If they're listening, yeah, that's him right there. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the guy I talked to. Yeah, he was a real nice guy. He came over and had a couple questions, and
I thought it was really cool when when they announced his name. You know how like some of these guys come out and they have like a scantily clad lady, or like they have their posse with them.
Right.
Like he came out with like his mom and like his grandma.
Right.
It's like his aunt was with him.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
So this kid, again, I can't remember his name, but his dad was a wrestler as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his.
I thought you were going to say arrested. I was like, that's not cool.
I mean, maybe
it could be. No,
maybe. His dad's name was Rob Noxious.
His wrestling name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wasn't that a bigger? I think he might have made it to the WWE.
I mean, the name sounds
Rob
familiar.
Noxious.
The name sounds familiar.
This is just a great name.
Yeah. But maybe we'll play a little bit of the, just like so you can get a little taste of what we tried to do there.
Just a little taste.
So here's a little taste of what we tried to record.
Go ahead, brother. Hello?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, nothing. We're live, man. We're live.
Yeah, we are at PWE Battleground. How's it going, guys?
awesome. I'm what?
There we
Sorry,
go.
we lost that there for a minute.
Okay.
Little technical difficulties.
Can you hear us now? Oh, can't hear over this capacity crowd, man. This place is wild.
It's going wild, but doing a vintage cinema review live here today. We got No Holds Barred, 1989.
That is with Hulk Hogan, correct?
Yep, and Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus. He had a short-lived career.
Yeah, I think his real name was what, Tiny Liston or whatever.
Sonny Liston.
Sonny. Oh. As you can see, that was just way too loud.
That was not pleasant.
I kind of found it exciting.
It was.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think it's just simply what Dave's getting at, the ability to record and the resultant recording was awful.
If we had a mic block or something like that, maybe. Don't they use those somewhere? Or?
Well, I think they have special equipment for that. But not to mention, I mean, I was into what they were doing. So I was into the matches and wanted to watch it, and to try to focus on doing a vintage cinema review, it just wasn't going to happen.
No, I think for some place like that, you'd need the mics that like helicopter pilots use. Like the ones that they're basically like touching their lip, but it's so loud in a helicopter, like it has to be that close to their mouth.
It's right up on it, yeah.
That's something, like or subscribe.
Yeah.
Please send us some money. We can get the helicopter.
Yeah, actually,
headphones.
Speaking of which, live now, if you look at the episode description, we have a show support link. So if you want to support the show in any way, just click on that link and it'll take you to a web page, and you can help support us.
Yeah. Donations welcome. Even just warm sentiments are welcome.
Right. Anything like that would help out. But today we're doing No Holds Barred. So you guys ready to get into this?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So No Holds Barred, 1989. Exact release date on this was June 2nd, 1989. So it was a summer blockbuster, directed by Thomas J. Wright.
Well, was it a blockbuster?
Yeah. Not sure
I
about
meant
blockbuster.
I said at Blockbuster.
Ah, there you go.
No.
There you go. Straight to video.
Yeah. No, directed by Thomas J. Wright, written by Dennis Hacken, and produced by Michael Rackmill.
Was this Dennis Hacken? Was this his first time around?
I'm having flashbacks because I did this already.
Yeah. Yeah. The first few minutes of this is I'm going to get halfway through the cast. And, I remember that guy.
Yeah. It's like we practiced already.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Matt. What did you ask?
No. You said who was the director?
Directed by Thomas J. Wright.
Yes. Was this his first go around, or
that I do not know?
Has he done some other wrestling movies? Is he like a wrestling promoter?
I do not know. That maybe be a mailbag item.
All right. Yeah. If anybody knows, because the movie was fun for what it was, but it wasn't well.
I got my own.
It was a wrestling movie. We'll talk about that.
I think you might be surprised on what I think of it. But anyway,
okay.
Running time on this was 93 minutes. It was budget on this $8 million estimated. Now this is estimated because I think it was financed by like Vince McMahon, and WWF, and all that.
Vinnie Mac.
What the hell did they spend $8 million on?
I don't know. Maybe on Hulk. Maybe Hulk. I don't know.
Maybe he demanded.
I don't know. Yeah, you had big hitters in this. Gene Okerlund, those guys. Yeah. Box office $16 million, and the filming locations on this were Topeka, Kansas, and Atlanta, Georgia, and they filmed it in May of 1988. And Atlanta, Georgia, actually is a hotbed for places to film, I guess, because you get like really good tax breaks. It's cheaper to film there.
That's why it's called Hotlanta.
Hotlanta.
You're going to see that more and more at the end of shows or movies. Like you're going to see that Georgia peach.
Right.
It's constant anymore. It's like every other show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure whether this one was if the juice was worth the squeeze on this.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing after this movie was done, Vinnie Mac complaining. Like I remember him complaining. Like No Holds Barred. Like he himself, after it had it just basically bombed at the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry, obviously not bombed per se, but it didn't do nearly as well as he thought. He had complained that after royalties and after this, that, and the other thing, and distribution right payments for distribution rights, he might have broken even.
That's what I heard too. Yeah.
Well, this is a good time to bring it up. We're going to bring it up later. But they said that McMahon didn't like the original script. So he wanted to, delve in. He put his hands all over it.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, there is a story about that, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to discuss that.
Oh, go ahead.
No, this is all news to me.
Yeah.
No, well, is it?
I did not know this.
Oh, yes. So McMahon saw the original script, and he didn't think it was as good as what McMahon, with his name on it, he didn't want it to be that. So Hogan and him stayed up about, 72 hours, I think they said, going over this movie and changing it the way that they wanted to change it. And then when they put it back on the table, they're like, here it is. If you want Hogan, this is what it's going to be.
They rewrote it. Yeah.
So that's why he was all pissed off about how shitty the movie was.
Oh, because it was his baby.
Pretty much.
Huh.
So this made like 16 million. I think it was the number 2 movie that summer. And the actual number 1 movie was the Indiana Jones. I think it was the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
And
That's a tough one to go up against.
And that was like 400 and some million. But
Yeah, that one was definitely
Harrison Ford and
on that
Sean
one.
Connery.
yeah,
Wasn't what's his name in 2? River Phoenix?
I'm not
Did
sure.
he play young Indy?
He did.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
100% River Phoenix as
Yep.
young Indiana Jones
Mhm.
and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Great movie.
Now, I did do a quick double take on what you had mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I have this thing debuting. This movie debuted at number 2 because it came out the same time that
Maybe that's
Indiana
what it was.
Jones and the Last Crusade. Because I'm just thinking of a summer movie that made 16 million,
It's not going to be number 2.
not going to be number 2.
Yeah, it's like
for the year.
this movie's more likely number 2.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Actually, no. I have.
You would
my own
actually
thoughts on
try to watch parts of this as you go number 2
Yeah.
on your phone.
That's
But-
what the doo-doos do.
Mm-hmm.
But Zab, you got the cast there.
I do, and it is a fantastic cast. It's even better seeing these guys in action. So you've got Hulk Hogan
Oh, yeah.
as Rip Thomas. Wait a second. Isn't that...
It was Randy
I
Macho
was going
Man.
to say that's Macho Man.
But it's any wrestler, like in general.
Okay,
It was very big in the 80s.
it was. So was Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yes.
You have Joan Severance as Samantha Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Fuller as Tom Brell. You guys might remember him from The Running Man and from Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, so he was the head of the other TV
He was
conglomerate.
conglomerate.
Conglomerate or whatever. Yeah.
He was the kind of bald-headish dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Running Man.
Yeah, and in Ghostbusters 2, he was the mayor's right-hand man.
Mm-hmm. But he always plays kind of like a
Jerk.
Like
Yeah.
douche, yeah.
Yeah, douche.
He's a real douche.
Douche.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have Tom Debo Lister as Zeus. Mark Pellegrino as Randy Thomas. Now, I don't know if you guys are fans of the show Lost. That's, to this day, by far and away, my favorite drama of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Was he the guy with the glasses, or
No.
that was a different? Okay, I
That
keep
was-
getting
that was
him confused.
his character's name was Benjamin Linus. I can't remember the actor's name, but this guy Mark Pellegrino played Jacob from Lost. So Jacob was the think of light and dark, just one of the 2 dudes that occupied the island, like forever. They had been there just for forever.
Okay.
He was not the smoke monster. He was the opposite of the smoke monster.
What the hell's a smoke monster?
You haven't watched Lost?
I know there's something underground, and like there's people on an island.
Dear God, man.
I know they're lost.
It's so cute. There's something underground. They're lost underground.
What's the smoke monster? Is it some like
I
is it Bob
can't.
Marley?
I can't get into this. I can't.
Okay.
We'll do another
All
episode.
right.
on
Okay.
Lost.
We'll
We
talk
should.
about.
Dude, but Lost is so good, dude. It is so good. You have Bill Henderson as Charlie. You two may remember him from Clue. He played the policeman.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
The policeman that got locked. Well, ended up getting murdered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do remember him.
Charles Levin as Ordway. David Paymer as Unger. Patrick O'Brien as Craig. Jeep Swenson as Lugwrench Perkins. Bill Eady as Jake Bullet. Stan Hansen as the Neanderthal. Rebecca Wackler as Ms. Tidings. Bruce Taylor as Mr. Johnson. Mean Gene Okerlund as himself. Jesse the Body Ventura
Let me guess.
Yes.
as himself.
Ooh,
Howard Finkel as himself.
wow.
Joey Morella as himself.
In this movie, there's already a lot of selfies.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Allen as an unnamed wrestler. And Buff Bagwell, who goes uncredited in the movie.
I wonder who that was.
I think it was
Okay.
the wrestler in the first part. Was that him with Hogan?
I don't know. I just wonder who that was. Buff
So-
Bagwell.
I remember Buff Bagwell in his wrestling career.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember, was he in Degeneration X at all? I don't think. Maybe he was, but yeah, he played kind of like a heel, just like an annoying kind of dude,
Okay.
That was, I think, yeah, that's like everybody in the movie pretty much.
almost.
Almost. Do you have a brief synopsis? Take us through.
Of No Holds Barred.
I got to think of some cool music to put behind this one.
I think the only synopsis you can find for this would be brief.
You should play the background of where we were at. Like,
That's a good idea.
yeah, just like put it, if you can put it lower.
Drown it out.
Yeah, drown it out a little bit. That'd be pretty good.
That's a good idea.
No ring, no ref, no rules, no holds barred. Rip Hogan is the biggest star on cable, and this is bad news for a competing network run by the evil Mr. Brell, Fuller, who demands Rip sign to his station. Rip won't do it, though, as he is signed with another company, and his word is his bond. When he is turned down, Brell looks elsewhere for talent and promotes a tough man contest where the winner gets a whole lot of money and a spot on his network. Enter Zeus, a convicted killing machine who takes out all of the competition. While Zeus makes for huge ratings, Brell still isn't happy. He wants to promote a match between Zeus and Rip, and he will stop at nothing to get it. Brell hires a sexy female assistant to seduce Rip and has Zeus hospitalize his little brother. This sends Rip over the edge and on a rampage and results into the ultimate showdown between the two massive stars.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
That was climactic.
I'm looking at the cover here. Now, I saw an alternate cover from this.
Oh,
So on this cover, Matt's holding here, you have Hulk Hogan is much bigger on the cover and then almost like tiny.
sure.
Like the guy's name
Yeah.
is like in front of him. But then on other covers I saw where they're facing each other and they're both
I saw that on the internet.
like almost like they're both the stars of this movie. So I'm wondering which one came first. I'm assuming this is the original.
So that's not the picture that's on the back of that.
No, that's the back.
Yeah, that could have been on some
And
covers.
then the front cover is like pretty much Hulk Hogan like towering over everybody. And I'm just wondering if it was at the time because he was the big star.
By far and away.
You know, and then maybe when they re-released it, and maybe that's on the re-release, Tiny is, you know, from Friday and everything is now, you know, a big draw, a big star too, that they put them the same on the cover. I just wonder if that was some kind of
This was way
change
before
that they made.
Hogan's sex scandal.
Yeah, the tape.
Mm-hmm. The
And
tape.
before Friday.
And before
Yeah.
Friday, right?
Yes,
before
was
Friday.
Zeus.
But in 1989, Hulk Hogan was on top of the world.
Oh, my
probably by
God,
then, You know,
I'm thinking
And
about
also on top of a woman in his sex tape.
this in the sex tape. It all comes back to the sex tape.
right?
How did he get to be so big? And I mean like global big
Mm-hmm.
in such a, you know, at the time, you know, people will laugh at you if you say you like wrestling, right? Professional wrestling. Because, oh, it's fake. It's whatever. But this guy is a global hero. Like
Yeah.
people know him
Yeah.
anywhere.
I mean, he was just the WWF. I mean, I think just reached everywhere. It was one of those things. Once it was televised like that all across the country, and probably in other countries, it was just one of those things. There wasn't really, well, there was. I guess there was internet, but not we know it today. But this is what you did. You sat around and watched, you know, wrestling, and I'm assuming that's just, and the marketing that they did.
That's fair.
Which Zap actually, which was really cool. He brought out his figures from when we were kids, which was like an awesome thing. Actually, the people at the wrestling event were like
Yeah, they even
more
commented on
interested
it.
in Zap's figures than us. I
Yeah,
think.
they were like, "Are you guys selling these?"
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm sorry.
These are the old, the big, heavy rubber ones.
Mhm.
Well, not big per se, but, you know, they're 8-10 inches tall. They're the heavy rubber
No,
ones.
they're very heavy duty.
Yeah.
They were from 1984.
Wow. The originals. Like Zap brought bait along. Like we were fishing.
Yeah.
To draw them in, you know
Hey,
what I
come
mean?
on.
Get them over to the booth.
Come on.
Yeah, but Hogan, what you're referencing is he started out with humble beginnings, kind of like where we were at for like PWE wrestling. He started out on that type of circuit,
Mm-hmm.
and I think his name was like Terry. Shoot, I don't know what they called him, but he kind of looked similar. You know,
Mhm.
just a rough, tough, big guy. And yeah, he kind of people started noticing him. They started like putting him on higher cards, and he became who he is today. I mean, he still had like a show, remember, later on, and
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He
Once
was a heel for a minute, too.
yeah, with that.
But he wasn't always,
NWO, I
yeah,
think.
that's correct.
What's the
Look
term?
at Matt, he knows it.
I keep hearing that term heel. What is a heel?
Bad guy.
The bad guys are heels.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because I did hear that a couple times.
And that's a big wrestling thing they always had. Like remember during like with Russia,
mm-hmm.
they had was it Nikolai Volkov?
Volkov.
Nikolai
Yeah.
Volkov. That's
I keep
and
on
the,
wanting to say.
and the Iron Sheik.
Mm-hmm. The Iron Sheik was with the whole. What is he, Libyan or?
I don't know. By the way, if either of you are, you know, into Twitter or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
follow the Iron Sheik's Twitter page.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't he just like cuss people out?
He's
There's some priceless stuff on there.
Yeah, I know he's just like an angry like old dude. He's not even. Is he Libyan for real? Like, isn't he like from Detroit?
The Libyans. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think the guy's like from Detroit or something.
Is that where he's
no
from?
idea.
He just is like pissed at the world.
Yeah, he just shaved his head and grew his mustache out.
Yeah.
I've seen him like in recent years on Howard Stern, and he was on there like maybe 10 years ago. He would be on, and he was wild. Like he was fun to listen to because he was on the radio.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he was something else. So I guess do you guys want to go through the movie kind of chronologically?
Yeah, I mean, so since we all watched it relatively recently, I'm sure it's in everyone's head.
Mm-hmm.
Chronologically.
I mean, no, we're going to
Let's go.
start backwards.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah, start from the back.
All right, so let's set the tone here.
That's
So
what she said.
Rip Thomas, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan, he is in the movie the World Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion. He's a huge ratings draw, absolutely huge. And meanwhile, there's a competing network, WTN. They are the lowest rated television network. And this network is headed by a guy named Tom Brell. That's the douche from Ghostbusters 2 and The Running Man. So Brell wants Rip to be on his network. The day after Rip's most recent title match against Jake Bullet, Brell has Rip chauffeured to his house and attempts to entice Rip into joining his network. But Rip refuses because his word is his bond. So he gives,
Is that the part he like gives the blank check and says you will sign with my network?
Yeah, that was like a personal check. It was like a little ass check. Like one of them big checks
from the book.
Yeah.
Oh, like when you win a golf tournament?
Yeah, like that.
Happy
like,
Gilmore?
or not even that big, but like we talked about the baller books for
Out of the
checks.
books. Yeah.
That wasn't a bigger. You're right. It's one that had like a baseball theme on it,
Right.
something like that.
It was just like a little like I write a check.
Yeah,
And he's handed to her, just fill it out. You know,
is check. People still write checks. Is that,
Absolutely.
like blank checks.
People, well,
Okay. No, I know not. You're not handing out a blank check.
right.
But I'm just saying, like I haven't walked around with like a.
You
like
just
checks and all that.
Venmo and
Yeah,
do
there's
that
so much
stuff.
other things. Like
PayPal,
I don't know. I don't
Venmo.
trust checks, man.
people still write checks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, people.
They just
Yeah.
get cashed a lot quicker than they used to.
Like
So-
you got to wait 6 weeks. I think we discussed that before.
Yeah, that was the kiting,
Yeah.
check kiting with Minko.
Mm-hmm.
So after having been offered that blank check, he takes the check and he shoves it in Brell's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, look, I'm not for sale. I'm not for sale.
That was an actual check that he shoved in his mouth. That wasn't.
Not a prop?
That was not a prop. That was a real check.
Was there a move that one of the wrestlers used to do like that, like Ted DiBiase?
With money.
DiBiase
do that
did,
with
yeah.
money,
When he would pin somebody after he won and they're, pretending to be unconscious, he would jam
the money in
money
there.
cash into their mouth.
Okay.
I don't know, pretending. There was a lot of, I mean, we read it and maybe coming up on the next story here. There was a gentleman who would really beat the shit out of people.
Oh, yeah.
They could very well
So
have been
sometimes
unconscious.
there's some accidents that do happen. People are knocked out.
We should remake this with Laszlo. We should produce and direct it.
No holds barred.
Yeah.
How about some holds barred?
Some holds. Yeah.
I think that was already done
It might have been.
in the sex
Yeah.
tape?
That
in
was
the other
no,
industry.
No holes barred.
No
yeah.
holes barred.
Oh,
Yeah.
could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after he jams a check into this dude's mouth,
Mm-hmm.
Rip leaves. He leaves in the same limousine in which he came. However, bad things are afoot because Rip is driven to a rough section of town, despite trying his best to get out of this limousine while it's driving.
This part bothered me because there's a driver and he starts putting up like these shields made of I don't know what they were made.
Metal.
Yeah.
It looked like it was tinfoil
Yeah.
or something.
Well, so yeah, I mean it's by far and away was like the thinnest metal possible. But there's no question this was the thinnest metal possible.
Then the guy it like covers the sunroof. It covers both sides. Then like Zap said, he's drove to some area. He like pops out of the top like
Right.
It was amazing. Yeah, I'm with Matt 100% on this. This guy's trying to kick through a door of a car. And so amazingly, you could see the welts coming out the other side of the
other
metal.
side.
which was terrible. Also looked like somebody hit it with a hammer. That
Correct.
was like their special effect.
Ball peen hammer.
Ball peen hammer.
Yep.
All
Just
day long.
So bad. So anyway, yeah. So in the meantime, while the limo driver's, driving for his life, hoping to get to his destination before Rip fully rips up this car,
Bust through. Yeah.
takes him to the old abandoned warehouse where Rip is due for a beating from, a bunch of
Some ruffians.
Brell's thugs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Amazingly, though, I don't know what was worse, him trying to kick through the door or how he jumped out of the top of the limousine.
Like
Why couldn't he have done that when it was moving?
yeah.
It was kind of Predator-esque. He looked like Predator. You know how like Predator
Agreed.
jumps off like
Yep.
that move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very Predator-like.
So they say that, wrestling is fake. This fight scene was so bad, dude. So bad. I mean, but it was typical 80s. I would liken that fight scene to, no disrespect, to a lot of the fight scenes you would see in
Dolomite.
Roadhouse.
Oh yeah, Roadhouse.
I mean, it was this to me, honestly, this movie is the Roadhouse of wrestling movies.
Actually,
Right.
I found Roadhouse relevant in some way compared to
Now, don't get me wrong.
No Holds Barred.
I love Roadhouse. To be very clear, I love Roadhouse.
With Patrick Swayze.
Oh,
right?
he's the Swayze.
Yeah, Swayze can't.
I haven't seen that in so long.
It's so good, dude.
They play it usually like on CM. It's one of those channels that has it on like pretty much nonstop.
They do a 24-hour marathon of it for Christmas.
I didn't know that.
Nope,
Oh wow.
they do not.
Oh, I was gonna say
That would
the
have been
networks are
amazing.
thinking about that. They're like, oh,
Man,
24 hours of Roadhouse. How
Zeb
can
had
you
a
go
good
wrong?
idea there. Okay, so where are we at? Oh, yes, of course. So Rip rips up the bad guys, and he makes his way away. So defeated and not knowing what he's going to do next, Brell takes a couple of his cronies out to visit the No Count Bar.
Can we go back to that end of that scene? Though?
Go, no, please go.
The scene after the fight where he grabs the guy and he's like, "What's that smell?"
Oh, he pissed his pants?
He's
Yeah.
like, "Duty." The guy shit his pants.
That was so bad. That was bad. That was the limo driver.
Yeah, the limo driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to figure Vince McMahon and Hogan were up late at night, 72
Well, they wrote.
hours.
That's the thing. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote that.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, this is great. This is gonna be
Then
this
he's
is gonna be
shit
gold.
he'll shit his
He'll
pants.
shit his pants and was gonna
Yeah.
smell it.
So I got to think on this for a second. So Vinnie Mac and Hulk Hogan get that first draft of the movie. They read it and say, no, we're not going to do this. Here, you guys take this instead. So again, they spend the 7 to however long it took them to do this. They give it back to the production team, whatever. I wonder if that, let's say the duty scene when the guy shit his pants.
If it was already there.
Was that something that, let's pretend that Vinnie Mac and Hulk Hogan wrote that? No, we insist. Like we must have this scene in there. Like there's, look, the deal's off. This is a deal breaker if you don't include that scene.
I think that was pretty much it. I think they said this is what we're giving you, and this is what the movie is. And they said sure thing, because all he had to say was, all right, we're taking Hogan out of the movie, and then they don't have a movie.
Fair.
Right.
That's fair.
Who else are you going to put in that? I don't know. Was there anybody else? Is that in the fun facts?
No, this was all Hulk
Yeah, this
Hogan.
is-
I mean, as far as I know. I mean, because
Like, I don't
he
know
was the biggest
If
guy
they were
in
looking at
wrestling.
Sheen or something, or
No.
Cusack.
This was written by and written for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Vinnie Mac and Hulk Hogan.
And I always like to see who else is up for the role.
Yeah.
Not in this one.
There's going to be none of that. no.
Alas. Okay, so fight scene happens. Limo driver shits his pants.
Right.
Brell is despondent, not knowing what he's going to do. He's pissed. And he just seemed like an angry man the whole movie anyway.
Isn't this where he was thinking of getting the girl to seduce him?
Not yet.
Pretty lady.
Not yet.
Okay.
Because what he does do is take a couple of his buddies. They go to the No Count Bar,
Oh, that's right. We're not at the bar.
which had the midget in a cage where
Yeah.
they were sitting.
A
He was
little person.
throwing like peanuts at him or something.
Yeah.
He's like laughing. Ah!
That was creepy as
Yes,
hell.
that was
was.
creepy.
It reminded me of Porky's, the bar, a little bit.
Kinda.
Yeah. Like the inside or whatever. It just
But-
kind of reminded me a little bit of that.
Yeah,
It
for
reminded
people.
me of the Double Deuce. Again, Roadhouse.
Roadhouse, the
Exactly.
same type
That's what I
bar.
was thinking. And then you had like, what was the lady like? We got beer.
Yeah.
He's like, can I get a scotch on the rocks?
Her teeth were so nasty.
Oh,
That's methamphetamine.
So yeah, that's meth,
That's
man.
meth.
the little person up in the cage. There was a lot of rumors online.
Is
Is it midget? Yeah, I mean, whatever.
It's a little person.
is there?
It's a small- it's a small people.
Matt's got to be the. I'm sure Matt is the PC guy. What is the PC word for a midget?
Little person.
Little person.
Little
Okay.
person. There's rumors online. There's people saying that was Peter Dinklage, but it's not.
That's not Peter.
That's
No.
his first role.
That's actually not Peter.
Peter Dinklage in his first non-speaking role.
That dude's name is Rick Allen.
Is that who that
Good
is?
job, Rick
Okay.
Allen.
Yeah. But
Was he
there
in
was like,
Willow?
Little person, big heart.
that's right.
Yeah.
But there was stuff going around about that online.
But yeah, then you go to the bar, much like Roadhouse. There's like fights breaking out everywhere.
Mhm.
There's like women dressed up scantily. It's just a weird vibe in there.
Right.
And the guys are pretty scared. The guys in suits.
Oh my God, yeah.
Is that why you don't want us wearing like shirt and ties to the wrestling thing?
Because we'd be like
'Cause
those
you-
guys.
Because you're like, nah, I think we're just going. I was like, oh man, we look sharp. And, I was like, oh, I watched the movie and I was like, wait, is that
What?
what we're thinking?
They're
Yeah.
just intimidated. So yeah, the suits.
Yeah,
are,
they
they're
just
all just intimidated by everyone around.
They thought they
here.
were cops. Actually, they're like,
And-
are you cops?
And if you're, well, they had to play the part well, as so to be Tom Brell's lackeys,
Mm-hmm.
you had no spine. you absolutely had no spine.
Right.
So I mean, they get roughed up in the bathroom. They're scared as hell in the bathroom.
It's funny, the bathroom part, it reminded me of when my dad took me to the Pocono Raceway when I was a kid.
They had a bathroom like that.
Yeah, you walked into the bathroom, it was just piss all over or water or whatever. Like the sinks were overflowing. It was like those troughs, like the piss troughs.
Yeah.
And they would stretch for like 30 yards apiece.
That's great.
Oh,
And it was just, they were clogged. Like there was like dip thrown everywhere on the walls. It's kind of what it reminded me of.
That's awesome.
If memory serves me correct, Middletown's football field had bathrooms like that.
The troughs.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah, back in the day, I remember that as a kid when I'd go down there for you see McDevitt play or other teams play down in Middletown. I remember those. That's the only place I can.
Middletown had a great football year this year.
Did they demolish and then rebuild that school?
They just rebuilt the school. I don't think they demolished it. They kind of like just took walls down
Like
and added on. Remodeled it.
Interesting.
Mhm.
All right.
But they did build a whole nother school behind it and another school behind it. So the high school, the middle school, and grade school are all on that campus now.
Awesome.
Mhm.
You should drive by it. It looks completely different
I mean, I
from what
see
you remember as a kid.
I see it from the turnpike, and I could have sworn that they just tore it all down and built new. But what you're saying makes sense, though, that they expanded.
Yes, the foundation, I think, is still the original foundation. They just knocked walls out and, expanded. I guess it's,
Expanded.
that's what they call it in the
That's why
business.
taxes are double down there now.
Like me at Thanksgiving. So, in a moment of brilliance, Brell sees all of these big burly dudes, and they're all fighting with each other, having bar fights and shit. So Brell comes up with his own wrestling program, the Battle of the Tough Guys, and I know, right? Like
That was the name.
That was
it
the
was
Battle of the Tough Guys. Like, come on, man, you couldn't have
Like a 6-year-old made it up.
exactly. This was
Or Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon late at night.
although now while this movie was PG, they had to be appealing to the young kids who were
Right.
Hulk Hogan fans.
Oh yeah,
True. I
wow.
can see them sitting around like, you know what, Hulkster? He's like, what if we had this competition? He's like, yeah, there's a bunch of tough guys, baby. He's like,
Yeah.
that's what it's called.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
Prize for this was $100,000.
That's a lot of money.
yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. I would take that today.
A lot of dimp. So the show launches like a week later. It's not long. Like we're going. We got to go get these ratings. And it's hugely successful, vastly successful, thanks to the introduction of Zeus. And Zeus is, as Matt had mentioned earlier in the synopsis, an ex-convict and actually a former protege of Rip's trainer,
Mhm.
Charlie, who was the cop from Clue.
Clue.
But Charlie don't trust him.
Charlie doesn't
thinks
trust
he's a
him.
bad
No, he
dude.
had to step away. Charlie said, "No, you're a loose cannon, Zeus,
What I did like about the
with your
movie
crooked eye."
is for the tough guy competitions where they showed like the places they fought. It kind of reminded me of like a video game or something. Like you go to
Yeah, like Mortal
like-
Kombat or something.
yeah, Mortal Kombat. Like there's a place where like metal shavings are flying.
It was
There's
just like they were at the steel mill or
Was
something.
that- the
steel
Running
mill.
Man.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I thought that part was neat.
There's like chains hanging
'Cause-
and flames and
Again, like you guys were talking about, we're talking about a bunch of young kids or kids our age, 13, 12, 13, 14, being like, well, oh man, can you imagine like fighting in a place like
Oh
that?
my God, yeah, it's like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, that would be cool. So I do give him a thumbs up for that part.
Thumbs up for scenery.
Scenery,
Yeah.
yes. Were they up for an Oscar for that or anything?
Zeus might have been.
No, I'm just talking the scenery part.
Oh,
I don't know.
I know that's
the
the
first
thing.
fight though was in the bar that he
Yeah,
entered. Yeah.
yeah.
But then the ones you're talking about later on, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that
I
fight
loved
in the
it.
bar where Zeus just knocks a wall down as he enters.
Yeah.
Okay, so shocking. Zeus wins the $100,000 prize. Sorry, didn't want to. Sorry to ruin that for
Yeah.
you, but he wins the $100,000 prize.
Another thing I really liked about Zeus in this movie is whoever wrote his the script for Zeus was amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, his
he only
dialogue.
he only groaned.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. I think he said one or two words.
Yeah.
He said his name once.
Mm-hmm.
He did say his name once.
I did like his get up though. That belt. If anybody has it, if I can get that on eBay, the big Z belt.
Oh, that was sweet.
The Z
Oh,
belt was
dude,
cool,
you
but
should get for
his
that,
his
man.
shoulder. Yeah, why
that
not?
would be
I need the Zeus.
I'm looking
Z-belt for
tonight.
Zap.
Yeah. You could probably in them shoulder pad things.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were nice.
Those were amazing. Like Kiss doesn't have shit on this guy when it comes to the look. Again, just those huge shoulder pads.
That was kind of from the Kiss collection.
I think
if he had his face painted,
possibly
I would think it was Simmons.
The spring line.
Yeah.
All right. Zeus wins. Next scene. So Brel is ready to go, but he still wants Rip. He still needs Rip. So he sends Samantha Moore, his corporate spy, in to seduce him. But you can't seduce a man of his word, because Rip's good nature and dedication to charity win her over.
Where did you get that from? That's fantastic.
What?
That line there.
That line
His
about
what?
him.
Say it again. His good
nature
and
dedication to charity?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's what he does.
That's what it means. She couldn't hate on the Ripster.
Oh,
Because
correct.
he's just a good dude.
He's a real good zoo.
Yeah. She was like, man, she's so nice.
Well, so in fact, he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy that she just basically blows her cover. Okay. Wow. I'm here to seduce you, but you know what? You've completely changed my life here. I got to tell you, secret, I was sent here by Brel to seduce you. But now I'm going to join your team.
Because I
just
love you.
Won her over. That
No, he
scene in
goes-
the restaurant. And
Another part was funny. Yeah, he's in
the French restaurant.
the French restaurant was funny. But when they had the room together
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
he's-
and he puts the tape up across.
That's
She-
right.
But he's like, okay, we got to share this room together, one bed. But he's like, oh, I got to get changed. He's wearing some sort of like underwear.
He's wearing a G-string, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I'm ready for bed. And she comes out in some sort of negligee. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell?
She had her own little purple silky.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like you could crash in like the pair of pants that you had on and a T-shirt. But they had to get down to the silkies, man.
Yeah. Oh, he was wearing the silky. And then the part, of course, he's vibrating the bed
Yeah, that
as
was
he's doing
great.
push-ups before he goes to bed.
But on the like in my head now, I'm wondering what I thought when I was a kid when he was doing that.
Of course.
The bed shaking.
That's
and
the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's rubbing one out.
Not
over
even
there.
as a kid. Like when I was watching it then, I was like, oh.
No, I'm saying I'm wondering when I was like 12, 13, probably when I saw this the first time, if I figured out what was going on the other side of that. You know what I mean? Like Zap said, at that time, the big audience going there were kids. So you wonder, like, for the adults, they probably were like, oh, he's like rubbing one out. But what the kids thought, if it was because you're innocent. Some kids are innocent.
They had
I'm
to,
sure some
they
kids
had to insinuate something.
Yes,
Right.
insinuations are all over PG movies.
There's those ones that go over the kid's head. You know what I mean?
To be honest, I don't remember this movie as a kid. I know they advertised it. I remember knowing who Zeus was and who Hogan. I mean, I was a Hogan fan. I was into wrestling, but I don't think I've seen this movie. I don't know if I rented it.
I had to see this.
But did you remember it when you rewatched it? That's
No.
what exactly.
Yeah, I didn't remember it.
I
really,
know that
any
I
of it.
saw it, but I completely forgot the storyline because I at the time I'm this kid and all I am is just wow, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
But that's what I'm trying to say is I mean, we were all into wrestling. We all know who the big wrestlers were. It was promoted in that way. Put it out as like, this is a big wrestling movie, but none of us could recall it. So did we actually friggin' see this movie?
I definitely saw it. I mean, in
Okay,
1989,
I would have had to too, but I didn't remember anything about it.
yeah.
I don't remember like him jump. I would have remembered him jumping through the limousine.
Mm-hmm.
I would have remembered that last fight scene. I don't remember
I mean,
shit.
is that the same summer as Batman coming out?
Yes.
Because now Batman, I remember being blown away. Now I probably saw this on video. I don't know that I went to the theater to see it, but I
think
know
we
I
talked
would.
about that before. Like I don't know if Batman was all that. It didn't do that much for me. I remember like being excited. I went to the movie to see that.
at that
Yeah,
age?
when they had like the Batman symbol for everything.
We'll get into that another time. But
I
I,
think
Definitely get into that. I think I'm gonna be on Team Dave on this
yeah,
one.
I mean that blew my mind when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Really?
And they hyped that movie for a year before it came out, at least a year.
Well, I
Like, you
remember
saw
like the Prince video was on MTV every 3 minutes.
Batman symbol
Bat
was
dance.
everywhere that you could buy. You know, they all of a sudden Batman T-shirts are everywhere. A year earlier, like what's going on here? And again, they're just slowly building and slowly building.
I think they pushed it too hard.
No,
I don't know. I remember getting so excited to see it.
Amazing.
And when I did see it in the theater, I think my dad took me or something. We were like excited to see it, and we were both kind of like,
no, not me. I remember just being blown away, the
Oh, yeah.
cinematography and everything about it.
cinematography.
I was
No,
100%
Getting deep.
head over heels for that movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, we'll do that one. I'm sure that'll come up at some point.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that one.
I'd like to get some comments in the mailbag on that.
Well, I already know two guys that we had talked about this before.
Yep.
And
Oh, yes, we had. Yes, we had.
I had actually two guys. One guy was basically siding with what you were saying, and the other guy was like what
Okay,
Zap
good.
and I were saying. So
All right,
you're
yeah,
gonna have a lot.
interesting.
You're gonna have
Yeah.
a split on it.
Yeah,
for sure.
a big split.
but I think ours will be more like 80-20. Maybe.
They should have put
I don't know.
Hogan. I think it's going to be like a 60-40,
Maybe,
honestly.
yeah.
It'd be close to 50-50.
I think
As
you might
Dalton would say, opinions vary.
be. Yep. Yep.
That was a Roadhouse reference.
I think Hogan should have played Batman in the original,
I think Hogan should have been Dalton in Roadhouse.
or his buddy.
Maybe Patrick Swayze should have fought Zeus.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
No, who was
Zeus in Point Break.
who was his buddy? The guy's like Dodge Ram.
Elliot.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
yeah.
I thought he was good at Roadhouse.
Chris Elliott.
Chris Elliott. Look at my hand.
Yeah.
Jesus. This is going
And he
way
was in the
off
other one where
rails.
the snake bit him.
Yeah.
What was that? That was a great one too. Chris Elliott.
Yeah.
What was his show? His sitcom.
Oh.
Oh,
It was good.
Everybody hates Chris. Not everybody hates Chris.
No, that's
Wow.
that's Chris, the other guy, Chris Isaac.
That's yeah.
No,
Something about life. Was life in it?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, what the
but anybody, if anybody knows Chris Elliott, he had his own show and everything.
Yeah.
Back to
Yeah, me
Back
We
to
should
No
have called
Holds
this.
Barred.
We should call this No Rails Barred.
Yeah.
This episode.
correct. No side stories barred.
Yeah.
So
people love the side stories.
They do,
man.
they
They
do.
do.
do they?
They do.
Only when they include Chris Elliott.
60-40.
So Samantha is now on Team Rip.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy, her boss, Brell, learns of this, and vowing revenge, he sends a couple of cronies to kidnap her.
Mm-hmm.
Not just kidnap her, like they tried raping her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like this is a kid movie.
And that was in the parking garage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. The guy, attacked
Yeah.
her.
No, was that rape Brell's idea? Like I can't remember. Did he say, "Now go kidnap her and hey, while you're there, rape her"?
rape her.
Are you just assuming the rape? Like, or maybe
Well,
just
why
trying
else
to
would you be laying on top of her and like unzipping,
Yeah.
Roughing her up.
unbuttoning and stuff?
Yeah, kidnapping means I'm going to grab you and go. This
Yeah.
was grabbing.
Okay. I didn't really. I must have been doing something. I didn't see the unzip part or anything
Yeah.
like
You
that.
weren't glued to this movie as it was on.
No, I think I was washing dishes.
That's
I'm not going to say washing. I was rinsing them off to put into the
Were you
dishwasher.
like Chevy Chase? just
Even
putting
though,
them up in there?
even though just washing them and putting them up. People say you shouldn't do that though. Where are you guys on that? They say
What?
you shouldn't
Wash
rinse.
dishes.
No, they say you shouldn't rinse them off before you put them in the dishwasher. There's some people that say that you can just put them right in, and that I don't know.
I only do it for fear of because I've had.
Overload.
I mean, I've had apartments and I've had shitty dishwashers that don't get the gunk off if it sits there. Like again, so when I'm a single dude at the
Yeah,
time,
you stack them up.
you see that shit in there. It's going to be there a week and change before I fill
Yeah.
up a dishwasher. So by the time I get to it, it's all crusty and gunky, and I was always afraid that it wouldn't come off. So I don't know, force a habit, I would just rinse it off.
Okay, that's what I was doing.
I do too, just to make it easier on the dishwasher. I guess I don't know.
So,
I
yeah,
guess you're
back-
right. When am I worried about a machine working harder? But I don't want to overload it.
I think the same. But back to that part, I didn't see the. That's why I said I think he was just assaulting her.
How did we get on dishwasher?
Because we were talking about the rape scene, and Matt wasn't sure was it a rape scene because he was busy washing dishes.
Oh, that's
I
right.
seen the assault. I was like, oh, he's, and then that horrible motorcycle part.
He was real rapey.
Yes.
He starts chasing a guy with a motorcycle.
That was so bad. That was so bad.
He's like, "Come here, brother."
Now, did he end up throwing one of the dudes into a tree trunk?
He ran him.
He
into
ran
the
him
trunk.
into-
He put
yeah.
him on his handlebars and then like stopped short and he flew off.
Which, if you watch that, when I was looking up at that part, the guy that was on the handlebars was like smiling, like when you were a kid.
He was fun. Yeah, he was
he's
having
like,
a good time.
Ooh, take me again.
Yeah.
Top shelf.
No handles barred.
So
Top shelf.
they
Top
didn't.
shelf.
Top shelf.
Hoorah.
So Samantha gets away. Good for her. Rip's the hero.
That was a really weird hug he gave her too.
Yeah.
That was kind of that
He's
was
like, I hate when you get hurt, baby.
yeah, and he was like rubbing his nose on her hair.
He could smell the rape in the air.
But he was really enjoying that. I think they were like, okay, Hawk, take it
Back
back
off.
a little bit, little bit, Hawk.
How many times did they? Okay, reshoot the scene. Okay, reshoot the scene.
Yeah.
One more time. Let's do it one more time.
I didn't feel like that one was the one. Let's go again. All right, yes, no holds barred.
Right. So later on, so again, Rip gets away, Samantha gets away, everything's great. Later, we find Rip at a charity event when bad guy Brell and Zeus arrive, demanding that Rip prove his honor by fighting Zeus at the Battle of the Tough Guys. Rip, of course, is like, no, because he's at this charity event, right? So I was like, no, I can't do that.
That was not the time.
It's a bad look for me for the kids.
Well, yeah, he had a bunch of things with the kids. Then that's where he brought that, like the news helicopter, and all the kids were like shutting their eyes because I don't think they were looking for that part where all the dust and dirt was flying all over.
No,
them.
they weren't. No, they didn't know that was coming.
Yeah,
that was just ice cream and handshakes.
That was a pretty good part there. It was one of my favorites.
The kids getting blasted with dust.
Yeah, because they weren't expecting it was real. Like they were like, "Oh shit!" Like these kids are there. They're like, "All right, guys, I want you looking at this helicopter," and they're trying to look at it, and it's just like there's dust.
It hurts my eyes.
Stuff hitting them in the eyes. These kids are like this, like trying to like smile, really looking at Hogan. It was good, very realistic.
They probably reshot it a bunch of times.
That would have
just to mess with the kids.
Would have won the Oscar for realism for that part alone.
Again, another missed Oscar nomination. I got to check who won the Oscars for in
1989.
Yeah,
probably somebody from Batman.
I highly doubt that.
What? All right, we're not.
Jack was pretty good in it.
They were all good in it.
Good and terrible.
In my humble opinion, the best Batman movie.
I agree. Well, yes, I would say.
Please mailbag that in.
Oh my god.
What are you looking up? Who won the Oscar?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the meantime, since Rip's not going to fight Zeus,
he wasn't competing on this one.
No, in that year, no, for sure.
No.
So, I'm sorry. Are we looking it up?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Who won Best Actor was Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man.
Oh,
and I don't think. They're going against that one.
Zeus wasn't getting that one.
No. Best.
Ooh, Jodie Foster was best actress for The Accused. That was kind of a weird movie.
That movie was
deep.
Yeah.
That was Gina Davis, Accidental Tourist. Kevin Kline, Best Supporting Actor, A Fish Called Wanda, which is a cool movie. I dug that. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Best Film Editing. Dangerous Liaisons was that was screenplay. Yeah, no, they're not getting. Beetlejuice had makeup and hairstyling, 1989.
The 1989 Oscar winners year in review.
Yep.
Brought to you by the Old Dirty Basement.
Best Original Score, the Milagro Beanfield Awards. You guys ever see that one?
I did see that one.
That's a good movie.
I just liked saying the name.
That happened in New Mexico. My mom made me watch it like 5 times.
Really?
Yeah. She knew where it was.
Milagro. Montego.
Did you guys have any original scores in '89?
Hey now.
Let me think about that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think that was the year of my first real kiss.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the year of my first real kiss.
Nice.
I had the original Playground by the High Spiral Pool Incident.
You want an award for that?
God. All right, we're done identifying Oscar winners from 1989.
You can keep some of that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
So in the meantime, Zeus is, he's antsy in the pantsy. He's out wrestling. He's doing whatever. He's actually fighting illegally in a warehouse. Randy, Rip's little brother,
And his buddy
Craig. They decide to go check out the fight, just see what this guy's all about. So while they're at this thing, and after Zeus wins against his opponent, stupid Craig, Randy's brother, says, "Hey man, don't you know who this is? This is Rip's brother."
Yeah, called him out.
Why would you do that?
Well, I liked it at first because he was like, "Oh, hey, look, these guys are Rip fans. We're turning them into Zeus fans."
Yeah.
And you had to just keep your mouth shut and be like, "Okay, let me check these things out." And then, his friend just being
Craig, you talk too damn much.
Too much. Shut your fucking mouth, man.
Well, of course, as soon as Zeus hears that, he's like, "Oh man, well, I hate your brother, which means I'm going to hate you. And since you're just this little dude, I'm going to beat the shit out of you." Which he does.
Oh, yeah.
He proceeds to not just beat the hell out of him, but he sends him to the hospital.
Which in reality, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Zeus is a big dude.
He's 300 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big dude.
And you talk, that guy was 180 wet?
Yeah. He was a pretty decent sized guy too, but not next to these guys.
No. Nobody
I think
was a decent sized guy compared to these guys.
I think they said Hogan and Tiny Lister are both 6'5", but Zeus had wore lifts to make him 2 inches taller.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm saying I could see the lifts.
Yes.
Another Kiss. It's like Kiss also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
but about his
all
get up,
these homages to Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
The band. Not the 1989 my first real kiss.
Not the Prince song.
Not the Prince song.
Extra time in your Kiss.
So, wow. just finish chewing lunch here, baby.
That's how it went, man. It's a song.
That was okay. So Rip is bent that his brother just got the shit beat out of him. And so Rip says, all right, you're on. I'll challenge you in the ring.
Instead of calling the cops.
Yeah, why that? No, this is wrestling justice.
Goes in and beats the shit out of him.
Like, hey, yeah, I'm going to accept your challenge. I'm going to beat my brother with 90 witnesses.
Yeah.
But hey, well, I'm not going to call the cops. We're going to settle this like men.
Right.
In the ring.
In the squared octagon.
In this. Yeah, that's correct. There you go. Yeah, in the octagonal square.
The space of fighting space.
So on the night of the, however, it's there's always a twist. You can't have a fair fight when this is involved. So the bad guy Brell, this time successfully kidnaps Samantha. No rape, but successfully kidnaps her and then extorts Rip. He's basically like, look, in exchange for her life, like I'll give her back to you, but you got to fight for 10 minutes and then you got to lose.
Yeah.
Well,
Always a twist.
You can see how this goes. So, blah, blah, blah. Rip's losing in the beginning. Blah, blah, blah. Samantha escapes by herself, running around that building. Like, come on.
And I got a thing on that. She was like, why would you still have your heels on? Did you notice that? When she's running away, she kept her heels?
Dude, I see this in so many movies.
Yeah.
Look, while I'm no chick,
right,
I can appreciate the fact that these chicks are wearing heels, and those gotta be uncomfortable as hell.
Right.
They've gotta be. Unless you're standing completely still.
Not heels like bad guys.
Correct.
Right.
Ooh,
Good job,
I like
good
what
job.
you did there. That's right.
Because I learned something today. I didn't know that.
Jurassic Park had that same scene. Like she lets the one big, whatever it is, the new Tyrannosaurus, and she's running in heels like at 30 miles an hour.
Take them off. I was thinking the whole time.
Always.
Yeah.
It doesn't make well.
But that little Howard girl, she was running a little hard out there.
Whatever.
Wonder if they clunk.
I wonder if their ankles clunk after they break them from running in heels. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
In true Hulk Hogan fashion, in true Rip fashion, he's losing. You see him losing because he wants to, save Samantha.
Right.
But in the meantime, she escapes her captors, which are just a couple of security guys and a couple of,
suits,
audio video guys. No, they were just suits. That's right. Watching the show from a room way far away.
Right.
So she sneaks out, bitty sneaky. She sneaks out, runs away, makes her way down to the ring. While Rip's getting his ass kicked, he sees his brother, his crippled ass brother.
Right.
Or currently crippled ass brother.
Right.
Cheering for him like, no, you can't lose. You can do it.
Go Rip.
You can do it. Go Rip.
Go Rip. You can do it, Rip.
And then he sees Samantha. So this is so classic. You've seen this in so many climactic wrestling matches, like let's say the last match of a WrestleMania or the last match of this, that, and the other thing, or something very similar to that, where the guy's getting beat, and then all of a sudden,
the crowd,
his eyes pop open and he starts shaking all over the place. And no, now he can stand up and he breaks whatever bonds he's being held, like a headlock or some shit like that.
Right.
And then he starts fighting back. Shocker. All right, not
the shocker,
and we're actually going to get to a shocker here in a second.
It's not the wrestling move.
So of course, Rip is re-energized by seeing these two. Gains his second win, starts to turn the tide.
Yeah, he's like, let's get Zeus all together now. We can do it.
Inevitably, the fight ends up. Zeus falls through the middle of the ring.
The middle, yep.
He, throws him off at the top.
Well,
rope
they start fighting all over. They're chasing each other.
That's right. Yeah, they're all over
He's up top, and he gives them some sort of Hogan move.
He gives them a double axe handle.
Yeah.
Well, this is after Zeus tried to rip a part of the ring off and stick it through Hogan's head.
Yes,
he did try to stab him with the post.
Yes,
we did. They did reference earlier. He did murder somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he was going to murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to land on that post when he went into the middle of the ring, but they didn't do that.
Well, yeah, like Zab was saying earlier, kids probably watching this.
Yeah, he's not going to land on it there.
You don't want it impaling.
Right.
Oh, that would have been a good public service announcement. Public service message like, hey, look, kids, don't land this way on the posts.
Right.
But in this case, it's like, no, figure it out for yourself.
Have you guys seen the new G.I. Joe public service messages on YouTube?
No, but we'll get there.
They're good.
They're good.
You'll enjoy them. anybody listening, check them out.
Are they animated or what?
Yeah, the animated ones. You know how they end
But they've changed the words.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're like, hey, look what Charlie's doing. Hey, Charlie, what are you doing?
Oh,
like
they took the actual cartoon.
And like they do like a voiceover of it. The guy like will come out. He's like, hey man, what are you guys doing?
Right.
Jesus,
it's funny. There's like 5 or 6 of them. They're pretty good.
They were rerunning that show for a long time.
Oh, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, like only up until recent years. Like they were running the originals. I watched it. I had recorded every one.
Yeah.
Just because why not? Because it could go away, and it did go away.
And now you got it.
But on none of them, not a one of them, did they play the public service announcements at the end.
G.I. Joe.
Not one of them.
That's
And
right.
now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, none of the episodes that they were rerunning, they would play those. I'm sorry, they would not play those.
Wow. They're rerunning. They're rerunning the original Transformers cartoon on Tubi, I believe.
You can find G.I. Joe also on Tubi.
Nice.
That's a good site for streaming.
Indeed. All right, so the fight destroys the ring. Zeus is laying in the middle of it. He's unconscious. He's done. But in the meantime, bad guy Brel is in the control room.
And that's where Rip sees him in there.
Rip sees him in there. So in the meantime, Brel's throwing a tantrum, right? Brel is ripping equipment apart, smashing equipment, doing this, that, and the other thing. Of course, he's enraged, over Zeus's loss.
Quick question.
Go.
How did Brel figure on signing Hogan eventually anyway? Like, wasn't that his main goal?
That was the goal.
And now that, now he's acting like crazy. He put his brother in.
To be clear, he wanted
traction.
to get his goal was to be able to derive good ratings from Rip.
Oh, so he was getting him with the tough guy through Zeus.
That's
so he
right.
didn't need Rip no more. He's like, I don't need you.
If you won't sign with me, at least I'm going to get you on my television one way or another.
And he was.
So, here we go. So bad guy Brel throwing a tantrum. His Zeus lost. And of course, Rip is pissed at him because, obviously he extorted him and, saying, hey, look, I'll give you your lady friend back if, you lose the match and blah, blah, blah. So Rip goes after him. Rip sees him. He goes after him and the guy's backing up. He's backing up.
Yeah. Busts the glass to the control room.
Mm-hmm.
Climactic and
shock.
Backs himself into open electrics.
That's crazy.
Again, the guy sitting there electrocutes himself to death. And instead of people being like, maybe we should call the ambulance or something, they're all celebrating Rip.
Did either of you? I know, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, that guy just died. Yeah.
But that's nobody ever cheers. Nobody goes to go help the bad guy.
Is it real though?
But they didn't know the guy was bad at the time. They just thought he was
a show, maybe.
Maybe.
It's a
Yeah,
wrestling.
Yeah, it's a wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that was part of the show.
Did either? I don't know. Did either of you see when he was being electrocuted? Like when he backed himself into that audio video equipment rack, which is impossible, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not going to get electrocuted that way.
No,
it's so low voltage.
Yeah, exactly.
120.
Anyway,
That's not that low.
That's 120 volts. That's no 480. It's 120, man.
So
It'll bite you.
It'll get you.
Yeah, it'll get you. But
it's not going to kill you.
no.
No.
Did either of you see the guy standing there, Brel standing there, as they slow motion, like have him shocking and jerking around and whatever?
Mm-hmm.
He's got his one hand behind his back, and it's his chest is arched out and his stomach's arched out. It looks like he's jamming something up his ass.
I did not see that.
It's like he's standing there. It's worth a rewatch.
I'm gonna go back and
They're
watch
like,
it.
bro, they're like, what am I supposed to do? And the director's like, just, you're getting shocked. He's like, well, how do I do that? He's like, I don't know, just be shocked. And I think that's what
he did.
if somebody's trying to like tell you to like,
That
act
is a
like,
shocker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is the shocker.
The shocker. There you go.
The one end of the shocker.
You guys were waiting for that one.
And so, I mean, that's basically it. So, bad guy's dead. Zeus is unconscious.
Rip's the hero.
Everybody's celebrating. Rip's got the chick, and that's it. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah,
job,
I wrote down a
Lord.
couple notes just during the movie, things that struck me as like interesting or funny or whatever.
I'm interested.
So the beginning there with Mean Gene and Jesse Ventura, did you guys catch his like Cleopatra type head dress he had on?
Yeah, of course. It looks like
He
wear
always,
that.
yeah, he
It
always
looks
did
like
that.
the beads that they would hang between rooms when they. Oh, I don't know, like
At
at
a
movie
lounge?
merchants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool looking.
Cleopatra.
And did you notice his opponent in that first match? It looked like he had mascara or something on around his eyes.
Yeah, I think that was a guy's shtick.
Is that part
Yeah.
of his character?
Yeah.
Okay. And then how Brill would always call him a jock ass. That was like his
jock ass.
Yes, jock ass.
yeah.
That made Rip very angry.
Yeah. and that was it. The other ones we touched on, like I talked about the Porky's thing. Yeah. And then that bathroom, like you were talking about, remind me when we were talking about a truck stop bathroom the other day. That kind of reminded me of like something you see at a truck stop.
Yeah. Now
how bad they are.
The main event in this podcast, some no holds barred fun facts.
Ooh, fun
Yeah.
facts.
Fun facts. Fun fact.
That was awesome. Fun fact.
I actually
Can use
enjoyed
that.
it. I actually enjoyed the movie. Like I know you guys probably did.
I had to watch this twice. I watched it the night before, and
God
I
bless
watched
you.
it. I watched it the night before, and then the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I watched it, I was, God, what did we get ourselves into?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to give it that second chance, and that second chance is now like it was. I'm sure like this was the first time I had watched Roadhouse.
Right.
Now since I've seen Roadhouse 100 times,
Right.
so I'm not saying I'm going to see this one 100 times, but it took it that second time for me to watch this and say, oh, it's not so bad.
Right. For what it is.
Considering what it is, it's not the worst.
Yeah, I actually watched it on like a Saturday morning before that the wrestling match, and I just really enjoyed it. Like I know it's a bad movie, but it's one of those ones that I actually kind of enjoyed. Maybe because I know Hulk Hogan, and there's like, even though he's not a actor per se, the star power of it, and then
Well, he is an actor technically.
well, yeah, he is
a performer.
Well, he is a performer, but what I mean is like he's not like mostly movies. He's mostly in wrestling. And then Zeus was a cool character, I thought, in it. I just enjoyed it. Like I was sitting there, I'm like, I know I shouldn't like this, but I kind of like it. It's just like mindless entertainment.
It is.
I'm not trying to be like the heel of the podcast here again with this movie. And we do reference that a lot. I don't know what exactly we mean. Like it is what it is. What was it?
It was just like a mindless.
It was a
movie.
money grab.
Yeah.
It was
A money grab.
I'll spend $8 million to hopefully make more than $8 million.
Mm-hmm.
But is this something that you would I don't know, like if it's on like a TV channel on like a Sunday afternoon, you're flipping through some channels, is it something you would leave on?
I would now.
Yeah, I would maybe watch a couple minutes of it.
I don't know. Maybe I matured a little bit. Like I thought it was really, really cheesy.
There's no doubt that it's really, really cheesy. Like Matt, everything you're saying is right on. Absolutely right.
But it was hard to enjoy. Like there's a lot of other like really cheesy movies that I have watched growing up. It was
bad.
It was a hard pill.
Yeah. I mean,
Kinda.
I can respect that, but I mean, like, I wouldn't say it was like Cannonball Run that I just had trouble getting.
I think it's like
wishing it was over, and
Yeah.
then this one I was like, I'm kind of enjoying the storyline a little bit.
okay.
And it's I know it's not like an Oscar worthy film, but I was like, and maybe I was a little hype on it for that day because we're going to the wrestling event that day, and I was getting in that mindset like, wrestling and the whole theatrics of it.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just putting me in the mood for this movie to appreciate it. I don't know.
Like going to the
I can dig
the
that.
PWE match, I enjoyed much more than this movie. Like it was
that's
the
live.
PWE was like live, fun to watch, and I get like watching a movie, but I still thought it would have that same kind of, not magic, that's a strong word, but the kind of stuff that drew me in as a kid, and I just found it wasn't as bad as Cannonball Run.
No, nothing is.
But
It's very few. Very few are that
that's
bad.
going to be the
And that had star power.
That did have star power.
But it didn't matter. Like, to me, this was cheesy in a different way.
But I don't know. I think like knowing Hogan now, being older, like the problems like he's had, like he had that show with his daughter, his wife left him. Like he's just, I mean, he's down on his luck. Like, I don't know. I don't see him as the star that I saw him as a kid.
I know what you mean, but like Hulk Hogan, there was a cool, have you guys seen the thing online recently? There was like a little kid in a store and he was a big Hulk Hogan fan. And his kid's like little, but he's aware of who he was. He was dressed up and Hulk Hogan happened to walk in to where this kid was, and the kid was like talking wrestler talk shit to him, like, listen here, brother. And he
That's
was
great.
like playing back and forth with him. Oh man, Hulk Hogan was like, he just never lost that. I don't know.
The appeal, no, he never will. He never will.
Right, but it was cool to see him like interact and just that part with him and the kids, like when the helicopter landed. I remember as a kid, like that's the guy that you looked up to, like Hulk Hogan's almost like a real life superhero.
Yeah.
He can protect anybody and this and that. I don't know, like the whole thing with it. He's just iconic.
Well, that's what
And I guess
wrestlers
that's what-
were to us, like growing
Right.
up. They were superhero. They were like a gladiator in the ring. They were like they did these things where you thought it'd kill somebody, and they're standing there. You're like, wow.
Right.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
at the end, the glass breaking when he goes into the control room to go after the Brill.
Yeah.
He had actually in one of the filmings of it, he actually cut his hand pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, and I know that another fun fact on that fight at the end, he broke Tiny Liston's nose.
That's
for
right.
real. Yeah.
Zeus's nose. Yep.
Yeah.
Broke his nose.
How we said about this? What's this guy's name? Liston.
Yeah,
Zeus.
Lister.
Lister.
Tom Lister.
Lister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liston was a boxer.
Liston. Yeah, Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston. Was he from Philly or no? I don't know. No.
I don't know.
But they tried to get him in wrestling matches, and he was in with like Hogan, Randy Savage, Brutus Beefcake. They had a couple with him. Vince knew that if you try to like build up matches between them, would get like the movie to start getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think we said earlier, it never really took off.
Mm-hmm.
And they even tried him in WrestleMania, and
Well,
No Holds Barred.
I think it was
WrestleMania 6, 1990.
Well, they had a SummerSlam too in '89, and he was part of that.
Yep.
It was like a tag team match, I believe, like Hogan and Brutus the Barber.
Yep. Hogan and the Barber teamed up
and
against Zeus and Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yes.
And that was like right after this movie came out. And later that same year,
Mm-hmm.
in December of 1989, they had the No Holds Barred, the match / the movie.
Oh, like a combo.
Yeah. So they had, you'd watch the movie in the entirety. This was a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
You watch the movie in the entirety, and then immediately following that was a rematch between Hogan and
Zeus.
Zeus.
Mm.
Fun fact, they had recorded the match 2 weeks earlier.
Oh, they would just play it?
Yeah, it wasn't even a live match.
Oh, it was just like Well, I did hear that he wasn't a wrestler, so he had a really hard time learning the first time that they said they brought him to an event. I guess one of the WWF events. Sonny Liston.
Tommy Lister.
Yeah, Zeus. We'll just call him Zeus.
There we go.
They brought Zeus
Debo,
and he like charged in the ring, and he was punching on Hogan, but was like 6 inches away, and it looked so bad that they had to actually re-record it like the next night because they were like, "Yo, you actually got to like hit me without hitting me, like to make it look real."
Yeah,
it took him a while to get used to that and make it look kind of real, you know.
That's what Laszlo was telling us about. Remember, he said you need to go to these schools, and this guy just thought, and that's why when McMahon tried to get him into wrestling, he was never taught anything, so he just looked horrible and awkward up there.
Mm-hmm.
Another fun fact is Rip wore blue and white in his wrestling gear in the movie, and then in real life he always wore the yellow and red.
Red, yeah.
And they said his shirt had like Rip It on it or Rip It, I think.
Yeah, Rip.
And then when he was in wrestling, it had American Made, I think, and then he would rip his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
But they were saying they kind of kept the color scheme similar.
Right.
But that was also him and McMahon.
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard on another show they were talking about this movie, and they said that and that was a good question. Like, why did they not? It was the WWF and everything else. Why not just call him Hulk Hogan in this movie?
Yeah.
But they said it was probably for marketing purposes. Like, we can market a whole nother character now and make money off the merchandise and all that instead of just regular Hulk Hogan gear. And because they made a good point. Like, he's Hulk Hogan in the WWF. It'd be like another actor or somebody like from a show playing in another movie, but being called the character from the other show. You know what I mean? It's just a whole nother character.
It's like when any other Batman steps in after Michael Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the same.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's right. The original is always the best, but
there's not so many fun facts on this.
There's really not a lot.
No.
I do know that I heard that like when he was doing the wrestling events like the SummerSlam and all that, a lot of the wrestlers disliked him or didn't really, I shouldn't say disliked him, but they kind of resented the fact that an actor was coming in.
This guy came out of nowhere.
He's an actor and he's taking their money away because when you're wrestling on that top billing, you're getting paid more. So guys were like, I want to wrestle Hulk Hogan. He was like the top guy.
Did you guys ever hear of a wrestler, Jim Ross? He was an announcer.
Yeah, Jim Ross. He was up until recently. Is he still with us?
I don't know. But they said there was an episode of Raw or whatever, and he made the quip about he said Hogan's movie should have been called No Profit Allowed.
Nice.
No Profit Allowed.
Nice. I remember watching wrestling.
Is a good one.
I remember watching wrestling within the last 20 years, and Jim Ross had actually had a heart attack, a stroke, and he came back and after some rehab or whatever, but you could still tell like the one side of his face was just all, slouchy.
Wasn't right.
Yeah.
Anything else? They said Zeus was angry about losing in the movie. It was an act of course, and he said he claiming he could beat Hogan in real life, and then they tried to do that with the match.
That's what I would wonder, if these two really fought for real, which I don't know what they're. I mean, obviously Hogan's a wrestler and stuff, but like if they really had to go at it, like who would win? Because they are pretty evenly matched, size wise and everything else. You know,
I'd say Hogan.
You think? Yeah.
Just because Hogan could do more. Hogan's got a longer reach.
Mm-hmm.
He is taller.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more practice.
But Zeus looks like he could be that slow dumb.
Could be.
Like them guys that just like pick up trucks and shit like that.
Right,
Yeah.
move stuff around.
Or you can just hit him so many times and he'll never let on that he can feel it.
His head doesn't adjust to being really hurt.
Yeah. No, but he was like the perfect guy, I think, for the movie. I remember as a kid, I do remember that part, like him being just like intimidating and stuff in the movie and stuff. So, but I don't remember the storyline like you said at all.
Right.
I remember there was a movie, the Hulk Hogan, and I knew that he later on became like Debo and all that from the.
Again, I don't recall it as a kid, but I mean, I get what you guys are saying. It was a movie to watch, and if I see it again, like I don't know if I'd leave it on, but
yeah, I'm not running out of here calling everybody I know, hey, you've got to see this movie.
No.
Not even close.
For like you say, we say again, I don't know if we use it too much, but for what it is, it's an entertaining movie for an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it was.
And like I
concur.
said, and like I said, I think a lot of it could have been that we had a wrestler over here the other day and we were talking about wrestling and I was in that mindset and it was just the perfect movie to watch. And maybe that's why I felt like a kid again. Oh, it's Hulk Hogan. I remember how much, I enjoyed it. I'm glad we watched it. Definitely, if you guys are in the area, check out PWE.
Yeah.
And
very fun. Cool.
And check out your local wrestling stuff. Don't forget, And I guess WWE is now what it's called. It's still going on. And
because WWF was World Wildlife Federation.
Yeah, and I don't even know who's like the top wrestler now in like the WWE. Do you guys watch it, or are you aware?
I got nothing. I was going to say maybe John Cena.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he's still in that.
He's doing movies, man.
He's doing movies.
Usually all the big guys go into movies, kind of like just like what Hogan did. But these movies are making lots of money.
Yeah,
like The Rock's in pretty much everything. Cena's in pretty much everything.
They all leave and then go into acting. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. You guys got anything else about this?
I got nothing else.
Yeah, we spent a good hour and some odd minutes here. So
that's a lot of time on the most part. No, nothing to add. If you see it around, I'd say if you're at your local video store. But
they're not.
That's what it reminded me. It took me back to kind of that time.
Yep.
Something you would buy and be like, oh man.
Yep.
I guess I'll watch it.
But I guess that's it for now. I don't know what we'll be back with next week. I'll have to see what's up on the poll. Don't forget to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Old Dirty Basement and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. And I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We outie 5,000.